Hi guys, welcome to About the Mind podcast. Today we have the second part of the podcast, the episode called Why Do We Dream? So I would like to welcome Ashwin to the podcast. Welcome, Ashwin.
Thanks, Yuvraj. Always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Ashwin. Ashwin, my first question, at least a few questions in the beginning, are concerned with uh, sleep paralysis. So can you give us a brief overview of what sleep paralysis is so that we can, proceed accordingly?
Sleep paralysis is a state of paralysis, as mentioned, which means you are conscious inside your body, but you can't move your body. And sometimes you feel that some entity is sitting on your chest, and that is the scary part, not the part that you can't move, because then you know. I mean, even the part that you can't move is quite terrifying for some people. And the reason this happens is because um, maybe there's number one, you could be having some old runanubandhas, means some kind of karmic connection with spirits who want to come and sit on your chest and then get your attention. So then you should be asking, like, who are you? Why are you sitting on my chest? Can you talk to me? That is a better reaction to sleep paralysis. But sometimes it can also be because uh, we haven't got enough energy to get fully out of body, and somewhere halfway in between there's some. It's like a car that just came halfway out of the garage and stopped. So the mind has kind of lifted off out of the body, so it doesn't have control over the body anymore, but it imagines that part of it is still inside the body, and then it gets confused, and then we get like confused readings. In any case, there's nothing to worry about. If you just wait for some time, either you'll fall asleep fully, or you'll come out of body and you'll be able to see yourself outside your body, and then you'll be sure that you're not in the body anymore, right?
Yeah, yeah.
There's
So
nothing to worry about sleep paralysis. You probably meet an old spirit from the past whom you have killed, and then that guy wants you to say that you were wrong or some shit like that. Some conversation that you'll have, and you say, "Okay, man, it's all right. Now you're dead. You're free. You can do what you want to do." And yeah, so leave me alone. Okay, I'm not sorry for what I did. The more you are guilty for the memories which will come back when you start talking to this entity, the more you will get caught in its demands for justice.
okay, so this another scary part which I experienced personally. There was a time where I would involuntarily get into sleep paralysis almost every other night, especially when there was particularly stressful day. On those days,
Mm.
it used to happen a lot. So the feeling is that you will never get out of uh, the state of sleep paralysis. I mean,
Mhm.
does that resonate? In the sense that you feel a sort of a sinking feeling that you're going inside that void, and you
Mm.
won't be able to get out, and then you have to use a considerable amount of willpower to be able to snap out of it, and then you wake up. Like, it's not like you fall asleep. So why does that happen?
That's because probably you had some extra panic. When you start panicking and you start struggling, then you feel like you're sinking a little more. There's really no need to struggle. Sleep paralysis. Oh, I'm trying to lift my hand. I can't lift my hand. I can't lift my leg. I was all right yesterday. I didn't have any fall that injured my spine. So this is sleep paralysis, and let me just relax into it and
Okay.
see like what's happening around. Am I being held down? Sometimes spirits come and hold you down.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you experienced that?
No, I have experienced seeing weird shapes though, and sometimes
Hmm.
scary faces, but not the sitting on the chest thing.
Yeah, same thing. So they're holding you down where mentally.
Okay.
Then you should have asked them like, "What's up, man? Why are you here? Like, what do you want to get even about?" So everything, every interaction in human life seems to be about getting even and getting justice. But
Yeah.
when we give up justice and we start meeting people who we can have a relationship with without any baggage. Have you had a relationship without baggage? You know, very rare, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Like most of the relationships come with some baggage, and you're like, what is this baggage? How does baggage get in here? Why are they losing their mind on me? Because
Yeah.
when I was with my parents, I always wondered why are they losing their mind on me. And then when I started living with my ex-wife, I started thinking, why is she losing her mind on me? And then I finally got rid of that also. And then I was with various girlfriends. I was thinking, why are they losing their mind on me? And it's continued until I could realize that this is karma. This is a relationship with baggage, which means it's coming from the past, and I've got to do something about this. The moment I learned all these tools and techniques, how to deal with it, I started to have, for the first time in my life, relationships without baggage, and that just feels amazing. And most people don't even know what that feels like. They have no idea what that is. So that's what it is. Like you basically come face to face with another relationship with baggage, with a person who's not even got a body yet, and they caught you during your sleep time. That's 90% of sleep paralysis cases. But there are some sleep paralysis cases where you just don't have energy, you're overwhelmed, you have spent all your pranic energy in mental chatter, kacha, 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 mental chatter inside, and you don't have any energy to get out of body, and then you got out half, and then you're stuck there. That also can happen. So these are the two types of sleep paralysis. It is not a medical condition, and it's not going to be solved by eating more magnesium or something. It's going to be solved by cleaning out your mind
Can
and
it
the
be
way you perceive justice. Yeah, sorry. Go on.
can it be prevented? As in,
Yes, absolutely. I never have these experiences because I don't have kachra in my mind about um, justice. I don't expect justice. I've given up my need for justice. I don't expect it out of the world. Not that I'm disappointed and I don't expect it. Not like that. I just don't expect it. I don't think that it's a necessary part of, or has any value in the functioning of the universe and the way the world works. It doesn't need justice. Whatever for? So that's another whole conversation, but let's stick to dreams.
okay. So, can the state of sleep paralysis be converted into something useful while you are undergoing it
Uh huh. Yeah. A conversation
with the
with the
spirit?
faces you see or the spirit sitting on your chest, and a resolution saying, look, I'm not guilty for that shit anymore. Uh, It's mostly some spirit angry with you, so you resolve it, and then you'll be free, you know. So, well, and in the other case, you can just make sure that you're not having so much mental chatter. The same reason you have mental chatter because you feel that you're not getting what you deserve, and things are not going according to how you have planned them, and then you resent that. When things don't go according to our plan, we resent it, as if we know better than nature as to how things should be done. Everything happens in its perfect timing in nature, and the more deeply we sink into that, then we stop expecting impossible things. If something is possible, you know what happens? It happens. We use mathematics, and especially a field of mathematics called probability, and then we think that many other things are possible and probable, and and this is a big burden. Probability is a big burden. The world works with perfect certainty. Only what can happen will happen. And what cannot happen, you know why it doesn't happen? Because it cannot happen. What didn't happen couldn't have happened. So when we start insisting that what didn't happen should have happened. What didn't happen should have happened. When you start insisting on that, you don't understand how you've swallowed the teachings of that stupid mathematics class. Luckily, I didn't attend it. I was outside playing football. But a lot of people attended that mathematics class and swallowed it. Like they told me later, did you know that there's so many possibilities, probabilities? And I'm like, okay. And then they repeat the same thing in physics. They say probability wave. And they say this kind of shit like they know what they're talking about. And these are our best minds. And they're supposed to know what we're talking about, but they don't. Because if something didn't happen, it's because it couldn't happen. If something did happen, it was because only that could happen. We say, let's collapse the probability wave. The people who've read some half-assed quantum mechanics are trying to collapse the probability wave in their future. And then there are these bunch of idiots called manifestors. Don't even get me started about them.
Okay. So, for some people, sleep paralysis feels like dying, as if they're dying. So, what's going on with them? Is it the same thing? Too much panic?
Yeah, because they don't feel in control of the body and they imagine that's what dying is like. But when you die, you actually are very conscious. You come out and you don't feel the burden of the body for the first time, not for the first time, but for the millionth, zillionth time. And then you remember that state and you're like, oh, okay, all right, it was all just a game, all right, that's cool. But some people don't do that. They continue with their anger and their guilt and whatever. You want to continue the story in another birth. They're willing to go and undergo puberty again just to continue the same shit story. I meet a lot of these people when I'm out of body. I'm like, are you sure you want to do this? And I kind of, are you sure you want to learn how to wipe your ass, wash your ass again? And, learn how to eat again? And then learn how to make a living? Do you want to learn that shit again? Then they change their mind. They're like, look, if I'm going to go through all that pain, then I might as well have something nice. A good agenda without all this drama. Can I have some real struggles instead of ego struggles? Can I have some real pain? Can I have some real problems to solve which will raise my status and make me grow? And then they're ready for that. So since we're not in this growth mood, and since we don't consider failure to be positive, we are always messed up. And when something happens like sleep paralysis, we think it's death. Because we think death is the end of everything. But it's just a new beginning. Everybody's died so many times. Everyone listening to this has died so many times. I said, no, I don't have any memory about it. Well, have you really gone into what memories you have? If you sit and go into what memories you have, you'll be surprised. You're carrying the whole memory of the whole species in you. From, well, not just the species, you're carrying the memory of all the species on this planet with you.
So that means all the wisdom is also there.
And the stupidity. Both. Yeah.
Okay. So, in the last podcast, we talked a little bit about the death consciousness, as in out of the 5 states, there's also death. So, is it of any use? I mean, other than what you inevitably experience when you die, while living, if you experience it, does it have any use?
Yeah, yeah, it does. The problem is if you're experiencing it, you're dead. And it has value when you're dead. If you get out of body while you're living, that's part of the dream state, the swapna state. Okay? Swapna includes astral projection as well as lucid dreaming, and all of those. But there is Jagrat, which is the wakeful state, Sushupti, which is in between wakefulness and sleep, Nidra, where you're not aware of anything, and then finally there is death, Mrityu. And death is another consciousness you have to cross over. There's a river flowing between the living and the dead. That river is called Mahakali. When you die, you'll find yourself on the other side of Mahakali. You wouldn't know how to get back to the world of the living, except through some portals, and during certain specific moon phases, you'll be able to come back into the world of the living, but you'll be as if you're looking through a window. You can't touch anything, you can't feel anything. People will be there, and they'll be talking about you, you'll be hearing it, and you won't know what to do. And you'll be like, what a bastard, what a bastard, what a bastard, because of what they're talking about you. And don't talk about dead people on the full moon and the new moon, because they have access on these two dates, the special dates where the moon changes. These are called sattvic phases, where the moon changes, right? The waning moon is a tamasic phase, and the waxing moon is a rajasic phase. Okay, growth and decay. In between growth and decay, there's a stage. When something stops decaying and starts growing, that's called sattva. And when something stops decaying and stops growing and starts decaying, that place is also sattvic. So during the sattvic phases, there's like a window, and all of the people who recently died in maybe the past 3 months, if they didn't have gurus who took them across and showed them how to take another birth without baggage, then they're hanging there looking through that window and hearing everything you're saying and getting mad if you say shit. You keep your mouth shut. They can't hear your thoughts.
Can certain medication lead to sleep paralysis, like anxiety medication, etc.?
Yeah, they do actually, and even sometimes ketamine, which is a popular party drug, which is actually horse tranquilizer, that also can lead to sleep paralysis because it's inadequate energy to get you out of body, and it just gets you stuck somewhere in between. So those are not spirit induced; those are drug induced because it changes the energy of your body. Yeah, it makes you feel when you have ketamine. It makes you feel the same way that you feel when you're tuned out of all the noise that's happening in your mind, and you just got like away from it all into your own story, into your own fantasy world. So it's pretty much that. Those who keep getting into their own fantasy world when they're awake, they have a higher chance of getting sleep paralyzed because they use up something called taijasa. Taijasa is imagination. You're using up their imagination, so they're not. You require a lot of tejas, to get out of body. If you don't have that taijasa, you can't get out. It's an energy. It's an energy. You can call it interdimensional fuel. If you don't have that interdimensional fuel inside you, and you've spent it all in imagining something, some fantasy world, you're more likely to get into a sleep paralysis.
And what about foods? Are there certain foods which can lead us to maybe
Yeah,
astral travel?
yeah, there are. Like blueberries, for instance, are very, very good. And very small amounts of cacao. And it's to be had in the morning, and that helps you at night to get lucid dreams. Yeah, these two I know of. And among Indian herbs, there's something called Amritavalli. Do you know Amritavalli? I don't know the English word for it, but having that also. Let me check what the English word is.
Tinospora, is that the one? Tinospora cardifolia.
Yeah, what's it commonly called? Yeah, Tinospora cordifolia. Yes.
Heart leaf moonseed.
Yeah. So it's like a natural giloy. It's called
Oh,
giloy. It's a leaf, right? So eating this leaf kind of purifies the blood flowing to the brain. Yeah, it's very powerful. Giloy is really good for this. There are also some things that you should stop eating, like fried food and things that clog your arteries. Okay, like smoking, fried food, all of them not really good. Of course, there are people who can smoke and then get out of body, and especially those who smoke up weed and all that. And some of them can do it, but the problem is eventually it starts clogging your arteries. So basically, you want super circulation to your brain for all of these things to happen. So if you're having foods that clog arteries, you're not going to be able to do this. Everyone knows what clogs arteries: fat, saturated fat, oil, fried stuff, smoking, alcohol. Yeah.
so I have a few questions from some of our viewers. Uh,
Yeah.
One of them is I have a recurring dream when I'm flying or gliding over different people from my life and observing what they're doing. Does it
Okay.
have any significance?
Flying and gliding over different people that they know.
Yes, from their life.
Yeah, because it's conversations that you are not having in real life that's making you to project to them. So ask yourself, what is it that you're not saying to them in real life? You're not able to say to them that you should be saying to them, and that'll solve it. If you want to solve it, or if you like gliding over them and still not solving the problem, go for it. That's what it is, though.
Uh, why do I dream of practicing an art form that I practice in my waking life? Does it
Okay,
have any?
this is very special. If you're doing that, it means you've been practicing this art form for many births, and you're just downloading all of the stuff that your teacher or your practice in the real world is not able to teach you. So you're downloading extra stuff that you already know and you earned, and that knowledge is coming back to you. Okay. So whatever knowledge you've earned is always yours. You never lose it. It's in the cloud. You're just downloading it. That's what's going on. So it's very special. It's awesome.
Yeah. Is there a way to continue practicing in the dreams as well, whatever we are learning in real life?
That's what you're doing already. So your nerves are getting loaded with that information of having practice, and you'll be improving rapidly. Like when I started Karlikatte, I knew that I've practiced this in many births before, and I started having dreams about it. Boom, 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 boom. My abilities uploaded, and I mean downloaded, and I became a real expert at it in a very short time. The same with martial arts. I mean, I've learned like 39 martial arts now, and I've got teacher certifications in all of them. And it's just like I didn't have to learn it. Most of it just got downloaded in dreams. I know shit that I shouldn't be knowing. I know about how to kill people, which I shouldn't be knowing, and how to kill them without evidence. Why do I need this knowledge? But it's there. It's there in me. I know a lot of things, even yoga. So like that, there are people, you see them playing their art, playing their instrument, or doing their art, and you're like, wow, how can one person get so good in one lifetime? Haven't you seen that with some experts? 'Cause you're right, because it's not one lifetime. They've used their dreams to download everything.
Sometimes you even get this feeling, right? You're doing something and you feel that this particular activity just clicks, and you don't even have to
Yeah.
think about how to grow in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we're all special at something. As long as we're thinking of our mother-in-law and how to get even with her, then you can't really find out what your specialty is. Okay? So mother-in-law can be your parents, mother-in-law can be your, your spouse or your relationship and other emotional crap that you have in your life. You get rid of all of that, and then pleasing society. And when you stop all of that crap, you suddenly understand how special you are. All of us are. All of us are as old as the universe. All of us are as old as the universe. The particles that make up our body and the particles that make up our mind are just as old as the universe. So anyone who puts themselves down is is doing so for some bizarre kind of status. You want a bizarre status so that you can feel sorry for yourself. Okay, so never put yourself down. You're as old as the universe. All of you watching this, you are.
Okay, I have another question. What is the reason for almost dreaming every day about people we meet or situations that happened on that day? So they're dreaming about the same thing that happened that
Yeah,
day.
it's pretty much like going and hovering about those people. It's the same thing. Because you left things incomplete and unsaid. Then you kind of dream it, hoping for closure, at least in your dream. It doesn't happen. You have to have the um, the courage to speak what you want to speak, or understand that nobody wants to hear you in these relationships, and then you don't have you need the courage to go and find a new place where you can be heard and appreciated for who you are. That means you have to get off your butt, get out of your comfort zone, and do something that you've never done before without being afraid.
Okay. So, and what about dreams where someone sees a specific symbol or, some image repeatedly? Do they have any significance?
Yeah, of course they do. And only that person can know that significance. They have to sit and meditate upon it. Don't go and look on the internet like, what does this symbol mean? Because it's bullshit. That symbol is meaningful only to you. So you have to sit and decode it yourself. Nobody can tell you what it is. When you sit and decode it, then suddenly it'll make meaning to you. If it makes meaning to you, it's going to empower you. If it doesn't make meaning to you, it's a wasted chance at empowerment. You're going to still feel powerless. Looks like we're out of time, man. It's 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Do you want to quickly take some live audience questions and
Yeah.
then call it a day?
Yeah. I guess we'll do that, and we'll continue with the remaining questions in the next episode.
In the coming episode, yeah, let's do that. Okay, so I see a couple of questions here. One is from Abhinav, and he says, is no dream sleep considered better for the body? Or many dreams means deep sleep and better healing? Well, depends on the type of dream, Abhinav. There are healing dreams and there are dreams that dreams which are not in dreams, which are just born out of frustration and they're not healing or clearing anything. So it depends on that. So if you have more healing dreams, then you have more healing. And in healing dreams, the things always get resolved, things get closed, and you wake up pleasant. But in the other dreams, which are just frustrations, you end up you wake up feeling frustrated. All right? Hope that's clear. Okay. Priyamvada says, I used to have a recurring dream about drowning all the time, but they stopped when I started yoga. The other two were about running away from a few people trying to catch me, and the third was flying. Okay, so drowning all the time was some kind of negative flow of energy coming from some feeling of unsafety from some past birth, which probably went away holding certain postures in yoga, and this can happen. When your body holds certain postures, you change the energy flow, and then you get a chance to reconsider the logic that's making the energy flow that way again, and you might start questioning it unconsciously and resolve it unconsciously. You wouldn't even be conscious, it'll just go. And running away from people is the same thing. If it got resolved maybe by yoga practice. Flying is probably from some birth as a bird or as some kind of flying angel. And then, yeah, it's common. We've all been angels as well, many of us, right? We've been everything already. We have the memories of it. Okay? So we're here to raise our status above all that. Above all that we know, we're going to raise our status above all that we know. That's this birth. That's what this one is all about. Okay? That's why you have your particular problems of this birth. Okay, what's this? What are dreams? We see as a global event and it happens in the future, like in a week or so. So you just tapped into what's going to happen. Like I said, there are no probabilities. You can definitely see into the future because there's a particular logic by which we can predict the future, and that's what astrology is. I mean, the real one, I'm not the real astrology, where if you read Parashar's book, you understand everything that he's saying in it, but not the pop astrology, which you can learn for $2.99 on Facebook. Not that one. Okay. So you can tap into the future, and it happens. Sometimes it happens unconsciously. Yeah? What's this? I saw a Sagittarius type entity on green grassland with a trident. You saw a centaur with a trident. Yeah, they exist. They're spirit animals. They exist on Earth. Okay. There are animals in the spirit world too, and there are animal-human composites in the spirit world too. With each lifetime, do we get better, or can we forget all the interesting things we've learned in the previous life and start with the same shit again? Yeah, you can start with the same shit again if you are so inclined and addicted to it. And then you like to imagine yourself as more powerful than nature. And of course, you won't have the humility to receive the grace of nature. And then you will create the same ego shit. Yeah, it's possible. You have the freedom to regress. And if that's possible, that's what's going to happen, okay? So you can't stop it, okay? You know, I was an addict. I was addicted to alcohol, smoking, various other unmentionable things. But, and you've even known me when I was an addict, haven't you? So why was I doing that? Why was me, a person with so much wisdom now and da-da-da, and I'm helping so many people heal and all that shit, why was I addicted? Because it had to happen. It absolutely had to happen. Why? Because that was the only possibility. What's happening right now is the only possibility. That's so hard for us to accept because we want to have a say in everything. We don't understand that we're being taken for a ride And so that means we are not the driver, and we have a higher status than the driver. We're the ones being taken around, shown around. We don't see it with delight, whatever comes to us. We immediately start getting our feathers ruffled. So easy to rub someone the wrong way because they have a right way in their mind. I used to have a recurring dream where a tiger would knock down everyone who was with me and come stand in front of me. Never actually killed anyone, and it's never hurt me even once. Okay, so a tiger is your own internal energy, and it's what you wanted to do to those people. You wanted to knock them all down, and then you wanted to. You felt that that was the key for you to be who you are, who you really are. The tiger. You wanted to be a tiger. And you felt that I have to knock down and defeat all these people, only then I can be a tiger. It's obvious, man. Come on. You don't need me to interpret this. Like I said, it's a symbol, right? And it's a symbol that you can interpret better than me. What about what I said about traveling back through time and not being found out that I'm from the future? This is how you feel about everybody around you. You feel that they're outdated and that you're so much more advanced than all of them. And you know that if they found out that you think that way, they would attack you. So that's what's going on in your life. All right? So everybody's got dreams. Everybody's dreams are symbolic, and all those symbols can be interpreted by you with a little meditation. You don't need me to use my brains for this. Yep, 9, 10. I think we should call it a day. The video's too long, people don't watch it. That's what we learned. So let's end it right away. Yuvraj.
Okay. Thank you guys.
Right.
Thank you for watching. And please don't forget to hit share and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube.
Yeah, that, you guys, you learned so much here. Now hit share so that others can learn too, okay? All right, thank you very much. We're in a hurry to close, and we'll see you next week. Stick around. If you have more questions, send them to Yuvraj, and we'll cover everything. If it has to go into a fourth episode, we'll get into a fourth episode. Don't worry about it. All right, thank you all very much. Have a great night.
Thank you, Ashwin.
Thanks, Yuvraj.